In today's episode, we are doing things a little bit differently. Not only are we not in my house, this is also another crossover episode with my friend and colleague, David Fleming. We know that everyone loves a good story, so we decided to put together 10 categories to sum up the awards from the spring season, our best highs to our worst lows to some of the craziest things that we've seen along the way. This is Who's in My House? We decided to create 10 awards for the spring market awards.
Awards. So at the end of, kind of like at the end of the season, it's awards, right? So we're doing awards. Okay, that's cool.
The Canadian Screen Awards were last weekend, so now we're doing
I don't follow. I'm sure the CBC won a lot of awards for things that nobody watches. Hey, how many subscribers are there on GEM? Oh, you don't want to get political today? Okay, so let's get right into it. Okay, so what have we got? All
right, number one, best house.
Okay, so best house. What was the best house or condo that you bought for a client and why?
Now, are we talking best house in our opinion, like the house that we liked the most,
Yeah.
not necessarily most expensive, or just if I guess my definition would be if I were to buy any of the houses that I have sold in the spring market, this is the one that I would want.
So I looked at it a different way. I looked at it as, it says the best house or condo that you bought for a client and why. So in my opinion, the best house for that client was one that I sold on Sharon Road in Leaside. And that's because they were not looking for what every other buyer is looking for. In Leaside, when you're in that, $4 million forever home, most people want that. I don't want to call it cookie cutter, but it's a very standard plan. This was really different, and different in Leaside might play beautifully or people might ignore it. But I showed them a few of those standard, and again, I don't want to call it cookie cutter. I showed them a few of those standard and they just weren't impressed. Then we went into this one and it's a different layout. The dining room's in the middle of the house. The kitchen's massive, but it had this family room with 12.5-foot ceilings, a massive stone fireplace. You just do not see that anywhere else. And it was the best house because it was very pretty. It was almost $4 million. But I thought it was the best house for them because it represented such a small percentage of the overall housing stock in Leaside. So that would be my best house.
Okay. Like I said, I went about it a different way, but I also do think that this was the best house for them.
Okay.
So it was a couple with a baby. At the time, baby was 4 months old.
They're the worst couples of babies, yeah.
I loved them. They were great.
My kids are 9 and 6. I wouldn't go back to the baby phase. But anyways, you're a beautiful couple with the baby.
They were looking for something, ideally either Leslieville or Midtown. But with the budget we were working with, Leslieville made more sense. And a lot of the houses that we had been seeing were kind of the typical Leslieville semi, maybe 1,100 square feet. Not
small.
huge,
Yeah.
small, and something that they would probably grow out of if they chose to expand their family.
Well, good for you for telling them not to make that mistake because some real estate agents have planned obsolescence. They're going to call me in 3 years and want to move. But
So this is what was really exciting about the house. First of all, this house was immaculately kept. There were some elements that were outdated. The kitchen was a little bit wonky, but the house itself was stunning. Basement was unfinished but dug down, so there was a lot of
value
room.
for down the road.
Tons of value. It was one of those purpose-built duplexes. So there was a laundry chute. The house was awesome.
The laundry chute. Yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of memories as a kid of throwing He-Man figures down there.
Is that why you have a tank behind you?
No, that was my set designer's idea. And also, that's not a tank. It is the G.I. Joe bridge layer, which any of the guys born in the 80s watching right now will remember. So Ashdale.
Okay, Ashdale. Anyways, this was, so I will never forget, we saw 4 houses that day. And
wow, good for you. That's an award in itself. Yeah.
It's an award for them doing it with the baby.
Yeah. Oh, they didn't leave the baby in the car?
No.
Oh, you're not supposed to do that. That's frowned upon.
That is correct.
Okay.
Anyways, all of the houses that we saw that day were kind of the typical Leslieville homes, and some of them, the ones that got 12 to 15 offers, sold for so much money. They were pretty, but they were going to grow out of it. This one still had 6 offers, but this is a house that they can actually, there's 3 bedrooms. The bedrooms are massive and potential to make a 4th because there's that upstairs. 2.
Okay.
But nothing in the basement. So there's a full bath on the main floor, full bath on the second floor, and then you can add one in the basement.
Yeah. So if they get the master ensuite, they're future proofing, but then they're in a whole other price point, and they just
Yeah.
you don't get that in the starter semi bracket.
You do not, and this was well over 1,500.
So where were these guys? Were they first time home buyers?
First time home buyers.
Did they own a condo?
Nope.
Ooh, good for them. They skipped a step.
Yep.
Okay.
They were
Yeah, I
renting
like
for
how
several buyers.
you kind of looked at that question the same way I did, which is not necessarily the most expensive house, but the best house for that particular client.
Yeah, and the price point we got it at was great.
Okay, so second award here, the award for the toughest deal. Was it that it took so long? Were there so many signbacks? Were the parties involved unhinged? Or were there quote unquote extenuating circumstances? Air quotes.
Who taught you that word? Unhinged.
Unhinged. That sounds ageist. Are you saying because that's something the young people say? Why does my daughter keep saying slay? Yeah. Okay. Go
All
ahead.
right. Mine was a condo on Hillsdale.
That sounds terrible.
My listing.
Yeah. Also. Yeah.
So one of the problems was something that you've talked about a lot. We actually got an offer, quote unquote, too quickly.
Too quick. So that's the seller's curse.
Seller's curse. We got an offer. I think we were on the market maybe 3 days. It was like the second showing that we had. And the offer was good. Like it was not a terrible offer by any means. And we went back and forth, negotiated it to like $5,000 over the last comp.
Okay. So you're doing your job. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sellers were about to walk away over $2,500 because they wanted asking.
Oh.
Not originally from Canada, used to a different type of market. Anyways.
And cultural differences in
Yeah,
negotiating.
totally.
Again,
Very
we see that
different.
all the time.
And they were of the opinion that, well, we've been on the market less than a week. We shouldn't take anything less than asking. And then I re-explained, we generally build in a little bit of a buffer because buyers want to feel like they've got to
You tell
win.
people that in advance, but sometimes they forget. You're
Totally.
like, you're worth $550. Let's price it $579, build in a
Yeah.
buffer. Then you get them $560. Yeah.
Now, this new, like less than 5-year-old condo offer had an inspection condition.
Okay.
The inspection led to a series of new issues because the agent decided that the scope of the home inspection was going to involve cosmetic problems and proceeded to
We've
send
seen
me
this a lot.
20 videos, just video after video
Yeah.
of like blemishes in the wall, being like, look, the door handle's a little loose. Oh, see, there's a little gap in the floor.
Let me guess. Were the buyers? Oh, can I be ageist back? Were the buyers 24 years old? This generation that doesn't know how to use a screwdriver, and then the agent who doesn't know how to stand up to the buyer sends you a laundry list of things like the screw holding in the light switch plate is a little jiggly.
Yeah, I was like, I mean,
that.
I'll replace the door handle if you want me to.
Yeah.
Like,
So what made this tough was, to some extent, the agent on the other
the
side.
agent did not have any control over their client.
That's a problem.
And the real sticking point was that it was one of those smooth glass cooktops
Yeah.
and there was a small chip in the corner.
Yeah.
And mind you, they did 2 showings. So this person had been in the condo twice.
Yeah.
Now the inspection, and the agent tries to tell me that if we don't replace the completely functional stove that has a small chip in the corner, they're going to walk away from the deal.
Or the whole building's gonna fall down. Yeah.
And to which I said, that's not how
So
an
what did you
inspection
do in the
condition
end?
works. Well, we replaced the cooktop. It went back and forth, and we ended up. They found a way to just replace the glass cooktop and not the entire unit because that would have been insanely expensive. But the argument that the agent made was that it's the focal point of the condo, and I was like, if it's the focal point, why didn't you notice the first 2 times? But it was such a sticking point, and so my clients in the end agreed to replace it. But this agent was so uncooperative that he almost blew up the deal because of his attitude.
I mean, I'll say this. Nothing is killing deals right now like ego. And ego on the part of all parties. There are a lot of people in your position that would have blown it up on that end because they would have just wanted that victory. And so, listen, people might say like, oh, you're not negotiating hard enough for your seller client. You just rolled over and said, fine, we'll replace it. No, that's the ego, because we're in a declining condo market. Had you kicked that offer to the curb, you would have got $25,000 less for it in 6 weeks. Instead, you kept your emotion out of it and did your job.
And when I tried to really be like, listen, we're gonna cooperate with you, but I just want you to understand, like, this is not the right way to go about it, and just trying to have a conversation with him. And he hit me with my favorite line, which was, you need to calm down because I could just walk away and we could buy another condo.
Mansplaining. I'm going to guess it was a man, right?
Yeah.
Men. Okay,
And
so...
then, I just have to add, followed it up with my favorite line, which was, I have 15 condo listings, so I get how hard it is.
Oh.
So you don't want us to walk away.
Mansplaining and then grandstanding.
Okay, what is your toughest deal?
I mean, this one was wild. So we had a place in Oakville that I priced it for them in May of 2025. We listed it in September of 2025, and we sold it in March of 2026. So we were on the market September, October, November, December.
6 months.
January, February, March.
6 months.
I'm 7. That's a shape like a gun.
September to March is 6.
7 months. No, we were on the market a while, but what made it difficult, and I wrote about this on my blog, was that it was sold conditionally, but the buyers were from Australia, and they had to satisfy some pretty wild financing requirements, and ultimately we had to grant them not 1, but 2 extensions. So the conditional period ended up being 35 days. 35 days conditional.
I had that on a condo too.
I've never had a property conditional for 35 days. We had to do work on the property as part of the APS, but I wrote about it on my blog. I can't remember. Oh, the blog title was, Should You Allow the Buyer to Extend Their Condition? And I sang the praises, right? You were just talking about an agent that was killing a deal. I sang the praises of the buyer agent on the other end because she was so amazing, so hands-on, so ahead of the curve, getting quotes for things and saying, I'll meet we had to get, an inspection. We had to get glass replaced. We had to get HVAC guy in there, a plumber. She would go over there and meet them. And she praised me because she said, at the end of the day, she used some swear words. She said, I feel like any other agent, when I asked for that extension, would have told me to F off, and you didn't. But I said to her, your buyers are the buyers for this house. We're holding their deposit. We've got their APS. They've given notice on their rental. We know they're the buyers. Why would I tell you to go fly a kite? And she said, because most people can't get out of their own way.
That's actually a good topic maybe for another day, is extending conditions and when it makes sense, when it doesn't.
Well, I did write that entire blog about it.
Third award, best deal.
Ooh, okay.
Beating the most agents and multiples, getting the lowest sale to list price, biggest surprise price for a seller, or simply the best value for a buyer client. What's your best deal?
Here's where you might think the best deal was like, oh, that place you sold for $5 million. No, my best deal was selling a condo.
Okay.
Period. We could literally end the story there. No, my best deal was I had clients that said, we're in this condo, we've lost money. We know that the condo market sucks. We want to buy a house, but also we want out of the condo. So kudos to them for doing what a lot of folks can't. And I know there's financial implications, but there are people that refuse to sell for a loss. Listen, I get it. People are going to say, oh, well, you sold it to them, or easy for you to say, you sell no matter what. Look, I've lost on investments before. I think that part of investing is winning and losing. But these guys had enough to say, the condo market's going to continue to go down. We want to get out now. They sold their condo, and this is on George Street downtown. And we sold it within 12 days, which was a massive, massive victory. And then they turned around and bought a house. So they're out. They sold the condo. It closed, 30-day close. They moved into an Airbnb. They closed on their house in mid-May. And when I look in that building right now, there are currently 8 one-bedroom units for sale. Not a huge building.
Wait, question.
Yes.
Did you look to see if any of the ones were listed at the time that you listed?
Yes, I did, and I looked, and 3 of the units that were listed when we were listed, and they were all listed higher. So listen, it's not a race to the bottom. I'm not saying we gave it away. We were very reasonable about the price. Mm-hmm. And I actually had this one agent called me. You love this. You get this all the time. Called me and was like, what are you doing listing at $599? Because he had a smaller unit listed for $649. And I was like, well, we're trying to move the unit. And he gave me all this crap about it. And then he's now on his, 5th month and 4th listing. And so to me, that was by far the best deal that I've had for those reasons.
Mine was a little bit different. It was for my buyers.
Okay.
So I had these clients that were looking and had a very specific budget that they had in mind and had a hard cap that they gave themselves. Not necessarily hard cap of their pre-approval, but that was the hard cap of what they were willing to spend. And there was a little bit of a misunderstanding between us on what that hard cap was. I completely misunderstood them and thought it was higher than it was.
Right. They were like, we'll spend $1 million. And you were like, here's a $5 million house. I can see how that'd be. No, I'm just kidding.
It was a $50,000 or no, $100,000 difference, I think. Anyways, so we were looking at this house that was listed for 1.3, offers anytime in the East End, which is like,
yeah, it's rare. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, we have to go see it. So we see it. They love it. And funny enough, the name of the street is also the same as their last name, which was like, they were like, it's fate.
Young Street. No. Go ahead. There's a lot of coincidences. The first question we did, and you said 34 Ashdale, mine was 34 as well. That's
I noticed that.
We wasn't going to say it, so we didn't want to give out the address, but cats out the bag now.
I gave out the address.
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to, but anyways. Someone can click rewind on
it's
their
fine.
tape recorder and now see it. So yes, their last name was Young Street. Got it?
Sure.
Yeah.
because Yonge Street is in the East End, as we know. And
Geography.
And then after we saw it, they were like, okay, but we don't want to go over like 100,000 less than the list price. And I was like, oh, that might be a problem.
Yeah.
And that's when we realized that there was a bit of a miscommunication when we were talking about budget. I felt terrible, obviously, because I wouldn't have shown them something that I didn't know that we'd be able to get. So they did a lot of thinking. They decided that they wanted to try anyways, even though the offer to the seller could have been seen as offensive. And in my opinion, this house was listed by an East End agent. It was priced very appropriately. There was never a question of whether or not it was listed at fair market value. But they were on the market 7 days, didn't get any offers. So we tried. They pretty much told us.
What was it listed for and would you offer?
It was listed for 1.3. I think our first offer was like 1.175. Yeah, I know.
And 7 days. Oh boy, if I was that listing agent.
Well, I and my clients were comfortable with me sharing that it's not a value thing, it's a budget thing. And so we were like, we don't want your client to be offended. We know that it's low, but we had to try. If it's a no, it's a no. Lower, yeah. Anyways, we go back and forth. The seller pretty much said, absolutely not, goodbye. My clients said, okay, fine, we'll move on. A week passes, house hasn't moved. They've now had 2 rounds of open houses, still no other offers except ours. So we went back at it. They decided after some talking that they would up their budget a little bit, still not come up to asking though. No. So we went back and forth a couple of times and the agent called me. She's like, I really don't think she's going to go for it. I think she's probably going to sign it back. Called me an hour later and she's like, I have no idea what happened. Seller had a change of heart and she's decided to accept the offer.
This was the 1.2 now you're at?
I think we got it for 1.235.
Okay. Still pretty good. 65K under list.
Totally.
For East Side.
Yeah.
2 weeks on the market.
It was a great buy. Like we were substantially below what I thought was fair market value.
Those ones feel good.
It felt very good.
Okay, so the next one we've got here is the biggest heartache. Now this could be, we've put here, is it your heartache? Is it your client's? Did you lose something? Yes, my soul, and I can't get it back. No, what have you got?
I had these first-time buyers that were looking for a house in Scarborough. Their budget was very reasonable for what they were looking for, but they needed 4 bedrooms because they have 3 kids. And our search lasted probably 7 months.
Wow.
Because every single house that came out that was in their price range, fit the bill, had an offer date. Do you think any of them had a pre-list inspection?
No.
Not a single one.
No.
And so on several, we were like, can we do an inspection? Agent said no.
That's wild, man. It's like a different industry when you get out of the central core.
Yep. Yeah. I was like, why wouldn't you let us, then we can come in with a firm offer. No, because if you want to do it, everyone else will want to do it. So why don't you do one? Like, I don't understand.
The listing agent does not want a firm offer.
No, but
that's
every single time we offered, they would either take a firm offer or we like just missed it by a hair.
Yeah.
And it started to get to the point that I was really feeling for them because then once we hit the new year, there was next to no inventory coming out within what they needed.
But you're saying people were submitting firm offers without an inspection.
Yes.
I mean, that's just malpractice.
It was insanity.
Yeah.
One of the houses got 17 offers sold firm.
Yeah.
Insane.
I mean, the buyer's taking a huge risk, and so
totally. And my clients weren't comfortable with it. I wouldn't have been comfortable with it.
Yeah.
In the end, we found a great house. We were the only offer. We got it for a fantastic price.
What month was this?
I think month 7.
But like you're talking into the new year.
Yeah, I think it was March.
So when it was
March or April,
coming off of a peak, September, October, very busy, and then it slows down in Jan, Feb.
Yeah, and very little inventory. But yeah, this house came out, had an offer date. So we initially didn't look at it because it was right at the top of their budget. And offer date passed, changed it to offers anytime. I called the agent and he was like, no, we'll take whatever.
So that went from heartache to
win.
So mine is, actually, I guess you're right. Okay, so my heartache was I had clients that submitted an offer on a house in Riverdale, and as they typically do, they increase their price.
I know this one, I think.
And they increased their price again, and they tied. The listing agent called me, and I'm a visual thinker, so I remember the conversation I had in the parking lot at Bosley outside. I was telling my clients, I was in the car on the way up to pick up prescription medication for my child, right? I'm literally walking up the stairs. Sorry, I'm a visual thinker. It has nothing to do with the story, but I just remember it so vivid. This is the life of the real estate agent. I'm walking up the stairs at Shoppers when she calls me. She's like, I need a verbal. I was like, well, I'm about to send it over because I'm waiting for my clients to sign it. And I said to her, whatever it was, say it was $2 million. And she goes, you can't. I was like, I can't what? She goes, you can't give me $2 million. I said, why? And she goes, because that's the other offer. And I said, oh, okay, give me a minute. And she said, no, you don't have a minute. So I'm talking about being visual. I'm now down the stairs, running to my car, emailing her, right, the DocuSign from my client, and I'm speeding home in case my clients want to improve. And she says, leave it with me. She kind of quasi hangs up on me, and I'm like, what do? I call my clients. I'm like, there's a tie. They're like, we're not going higher. I'm like, you're okay to lose a tie? Tell them to flip a coin. She called me and she said, we're taking the other offer. And I said, why? And she said, because it's printed and it's sitting in front of us. And I said, so your tie break is that they were the first horse to the trough? And she said, if it makes you feel better, their deposit's higher by $5,000. So what really happened? Yeah, I guess the other people had come in. She printed the offer. They were sitting in front of it. They were ready to accept it. We sent an offer and tied. And then they were like, forget it. So you might say well, David, why didn't your client go up? If you've been in the position where you've already improved your offer twice and then someone's asking you to do it again, and it's easy for you to say in hindsight, well, you should have gone up. The flip side is the person watching, oh, listen to these real estate agents just driving prices up, just pushing people. Yeah, my clients could have gone up, but I didn't think of the turnaround that you had in your story is my clients got a way better property 5 weeks later.
Okay, number 5.
Yeah.
Biggest, I told you so. Not necessarily in a rude or arrogant way, but rather, what is the best example of where you were simply right?
And someone else was simply wrong.
Duh. And at some point, the other party you were dealing with realized he or she was really, really wrong.
Okay, so this one, and I know this can sound condescending, the biggest I told you so. I didn't give an I told you so, but in a roundabout way, you will see this was an incredible I told you so. I was listing a property for sale. We had 5 offers on the offer night. Now, there was one guy during the week. He kept calling me, and I said to him, listen, you're going to have every opportunity on the offer night to buy it. I'm a fair guy to deal with. I'm not going to sell it out from anyone, under anyone, and that's how I do things on offer night. I don't care if someone has the lowest offer. It's a worst offer on the planet. I still call them. I'm not one of those radio ad bus shelter people that just sends a mass email, right?
Oh, I hate the mass email.
The mass emails. You're not doing your client's
pick up the phone
service. Yeah. So I pick up the phone and I'll call the person with the worst offer and say, hey, listen, we're going to go ahead with somebody else. And you can't disclose the price, but you can say something like, listen, if you could magically waive your conditions and come up $250,000, So I'm never going to sell it out from under somebody. So I end up with 5 offers and this guy's in second position. I call him and I say, listen, if you'd like to improve your offer, great. If not, have a fantastic evening. So he says to me, well, what do I need to do? I said, I just told you need to improve your offer. So he says, okay. And then it's just radio silence. And he's texting me, any update? So I'm thinking, is this a communication problem? No, it was something between him and his clients. It was sort of we just want you to take our lower offer. And I said to him, we're going with the other offer in 5 minutes if I don't hear back from you. So his offer was for $10.50, right? And I'm sitting on $10.80. So he said to me, where do I have to be? Now, again, people watching are going to say, well, I don't like this game or whatever it is. Sorry, I can't deal with your mental illness right now, but this is how it works. I can't disclose the terms of another offer, but if I'm sitting on $10.80, I could say to him, listen, you're at $10.50. If hypothetically you magically came up to $1.1 million, maybe you'd get it. The people at home are like, well, you should be $10.80 and $1. So I can't remember exactly what I said to him. He revises.
Well, that's assuming that the 1080 doesn't come up, right?
Well, no, the 1080 was, they were in the lead. So he resubmits at 1050, 575. And I called him and I said, what are you doing? I told you you're not behind by $574. So I said to him,
He was already at 1050.
He was at 1050. It came up $575.
Okay.
So I said to him, you're a nice guy. I like you. We're missing something here. We are going with the other offer. Good night. And he's like, okay. So I DocuSign the other offer. My client's getting ready to sign. And he calls me and says, we want to improve our offer. I said, 1060 is not going to do it. 1065 is not going to do it. 1070 is not going to do it. Are you listening to me? He said, yes. I said, I am trying to help you. He said, okay. Guess what the revised offer was?
1065. 575.
1060. So I said to him, I have tried. We are going with the other offer. Good night. We signed the 1080 and that was it. I had 5 missed calls from him at 11:30, 11:31, 11:40. I was in bed, man. I was asleep. That was a grinder. So I woke up in the morning, 5 missed calls from this guy. And then I finally call him back and he says, my client would like to resubmit. I said, you realize that we've already accepted another offer and we sold it last night? He's like, my client would like to resubmit another offer of 1070. I was like, you're not listening. It's sold. So we get the check and he's still calling me and saying, we'd like to. I know that people are going to say, okay, this guy just doesn't know what he's doing.
Do you think it was the agent that didn't understand the process or the buyer that was bullying them into this and they lost control?
I think they have no reason to trust me, right? Like, let's be honest here. I don't know the guy. Now, when agents do deals together, sometimes you look for the agent you trust. You look for the agent, like, if, let's say there's a property listed for $999, and we're veering off script now, but let's say there's a property listed for $999, and I've got 1.3. There are agents that will call the person at $999 and say, can you come up? And that person says, I can come up $5,000. And the listing agent says, okay, great, let's put that on paper. I don't waste people's time like that. I say to them, listen, go home and be with your family. That's what I do. So you don't really know. Every agent's going to do it differently. I think that maybe when I said, look, you've got to be up $50,000, maybe they just didn't believe me, but it might have also been stupidity. Okay, so I took a ton of time there, Anya. So you go, not belabor that one. Your biggest I told you so.
This was a fun one.
Okay, more fun than mine? Yeah.
Way more fun than yours. Oh. So you may recall I was away. I was out of the country a couple weeks ago.
Is that because you got married?
No, I was attending a wedding.
Your own wedding?
No, my wedding was in Toronto.
Oh, okay. Well, you were away. Got it. Okay.
I was away and I had these clients who are relocating from BC and happened to be in town at the exact time I was going to be gone with a couple day overlap. So for a few of those days, our colleague Megan was showing them and they saw this house that I had previewed for them before I left, decided they wanted to offer. And I was like, okay, well, I'll do the offer. I'll help you out with that. So I literally leave the wedding.
As one does.
Yeah. Leave the wedding.
Weddings are overrated. Yeah.
Is that how you feel?
Bridesmaid speeches. Like, oh my God. Oh, and then in grade 9, she did the funniest thing. It's funny for like 4 people in the room. Go on.
Okay.
I'm no fun.
We know.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I like bring my laptop back. I draft the offer up. We send the offer. This agent is like nowhere to be found. Mind you, this house, so it was listed for $999. They bought for like 1.1 or $1,050,000.
Okay.
And the comps were at best $930. At best.
Okay.
Like we're really pushing it if we go over $930. So we come in at I think $900.
Okay.
They sign back
something stupid.
Yeah. And then we come back at $930 and we say, listen, the comps are very clear. This is our absolute best and final. If you guys aren't willing to accept it, that's fine. We'll walk away.
Good.
We send the offer. As you know, best and final doesn't always mean best and final, but in this case, it did.
I love that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Agent emails me back and he goes, my clients aren't prepared to accept that. The lowest we'll take right now is $860.
$960. Yeah.
Yeah.
$960.
Thank you.
Okay.
$960. Let me know. And I said,
so he didn't even sign it back.
Nope. He just sent me an email and
ego.
I said,
ego, emotion, men, they're the worst, honestly. Yeah. See, a woman wouldn't do that.
Never.
She would sign it back.
Obviously.
Yes.
So I emailed him back and I was like, thank you for letting me know. If anything changes on your end, you're welcome to reach out. Otherwise, bye.
I think I know where this is going and I really, really hope it is. Okay, go.
So a few days passes. I'm now back in Toronto. I've taken them to see, I think we saw 4 properties that day. They loved one of them. They went to see the open house prior to. They loved it. Okay. House was in a better location. It was a far better house. That one had no parking. This one had parking for not a massive price difference.
Okay.
Like $50,000 for a better house with parking. Okay. In a better location too. Offer night, we offer, we get it.
Yes.
That day.
See where this is going? I can't wait.
That same day, agent emails me, hi, Anya, my clients have talked about it and they are
reconsidered,
prepared to accept your price.
Oh, how nice for you.
I said, thank you so much. My clients actually bought a different house today.
Zing.
Good luck.
I love, they've reconsidered.
They've
you get
reconsidered.
synonyms for that. Our clients have reevaluated their position. Our clients, I got that once. An agent said, you ready for this? The sellers have recalibrated their expectations. No, they didn't recalibrate their expectations. They lost in a bluffing match. And are you watching it? Did it sell for less? I bet
It
that
hasn't
sells
sold.
Right.
And it gets even better. I went and showed it to a different client after because it had been at least a month since I previewed it and I forgot what it was like. It's one of those center stairs houses, you know, the ones
that splits the room and the main floor
and
in
the
half,
basement stairs are so steep with no railing.
You need like a ladder.
And they're like literally this wide. My feet barely fit on it. And I was showing the house and I was like, man, my client's got such a better house. Like I was so happy.
900 for that.
If that.
Okay, so best villain. Now we're into like MTV awards. Best villain? Tell us a story about a tough agent, buyer, seller, or other party to the transaction. Who would that be? Like the homeless guy that jumped out of the garbage can and attacked. Oh, sorry, I forgot this won't play with your demographic. Mine's fine, my conservative demographic.
I just didn't understand where you were going with it.
I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Like Oscar the Grouch popped out and was like, surprise! Have you never had that happen? Have you ever been accosted? Well, no. Okay. Other party to the transaction. I was trying to be ridiculous. Who's the other party to the transaction? I guess we mean home inspector or parent. Trying to be incongruent, that we would not trust to look after our own mothers for the weekend. Who wrote this? Okay, go. I lost you to a homeless person. Go.
I got very confused.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is actually very similar to your situation where your clients tied.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
I feel like we've talked so much since then. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
My client we offered on this house a couple weeks back. Offers anytime, Leslieville again.
Yeah.
But it was on Eastern.
Oh.
Somehow.
Who doesn't love the smell of car fumes?
I mean, at this point, most of Leslieville smells for the summer. It's
Yeah.
the Leslieville stink.
Yeah.
You get used to it.
Oh yeah, nice.
You don't get a little.
My friend Billy
you don't
shows
get a little
up, and
smell.
I'm like, "Ah, Billy, the Leslieville stink."
Okay.
It's very romantic.
Anyways, it's been on the market for 2 weeks. Again, I mean Eastern, but it was a beautiful house.
Okay.
My client loves it. We're gonna offer, but don't feel the greatest sense of urgency.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I get a call a couple hours later from the agent. We just got an offer. It's not great, but we'll work with it if no one else, like if we don't get any other offers, like we'll sign it back.
The agent said it's not great.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Thanks. We were going to offer full list, but now that you told us it's not great. Okay, go on.
We weren't going to offer full list.
Yeah.
So we come in with an offer. A third offer comes in. I frankly have never seen a multiple offer scenario handled so poorly.
Yeah.
This agent clearly was all over the place, was constantly sharing more information with me than she should have.
That's what I was insinuating, right?
Yeah. But even after that, I was like, I assume the other offer is firm because the first offer we knew wasn't good, but the other one that's come in, I was like, I assume it's firm if you're asking me to improve. And she goes, yes. Oh, I shouldn't have told you that.
Oh my God.
And I was like, well, you did. So anyways, I could have gotten there on my own.
This businessman.
I think that, and what bothered me was every time she called me for an improvement, she would go, I'm not trying to squeeze you for more money, but then proceed to ask for more money.
That's a nice way of
and tried to
doing
go
it,
back, I think 5 times, to the point that my client was just like, I could come up, but like, I don't want to anymore. Like, this is stupid.
So they put a stop to it.
So we come back. Now, she's told me verbally that our offer is the strongest and they will be accepting it. Okay. She tells me this. Some time's passed.
Yeah.
I have heard nothing.
Yeah.
I call her. Our irrevocable is in 5 minutes. I call her. I was like, hey, just wondering what's going on. She goes, the other agent called me and like we were going to accept your offer, but like she bullied me and said that they were going to give us more money. So I'm just, and I was like, okay, well, do you have it in hand? She goes, no, I'm waiting.
So she's going to let your offer expire.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Are you ready? Are you ready for the amount that she let my offer expire for?
10 grand?
$2,500. She let our offer expire and waited. She didn't get the offer back until 45 minutes after.
Is this anyone I know?
I can't imagine.
Okay. You can tell me after.
I'll tell you later.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So there you go.
My best villain, I wrote a blog about this. So an offer is conveyed on paper. You sign an offer and it has the price, the deposit, the closing date. I think you get it. An agent called me at an East Side listing. The agent called me and said, my clients wouldn't go over X. I was like, cool. Like,
Thanks for sharing.
I don't care. Also, like, what's your shoe size? Like, I don't care. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm just saying that how the conversation probably went. I was like, okay, great. So she calls me again on the morning of offers and says, listen, here's how this is going to work. And I'm like, perfect. Let me get a pen and take notes. I want to know how this is going to work. And she proceeds to tell me that her clients are not going to put an offer on paper, but she gives me her price. Say it's 1.1 million, right? We're listed at $999 for argument's sake. She says, if you don't have 1.1, call me. And I said to her, okay, listen, Becky, that's not how it works. That's not an offer. She says, well, it's a verbal offer. I said, there's no such thing. It needs to be conveyed. Google statute of frauds, okay? Learned about that in school in 2001. Okay, so yeah. So she refuses to put it on paper. And listen, I'll be honest, I have way higher offers. That's not the point. And people at home are going to say, well, why didn't you just tell her that? And you could have avoided arguing with her. Because I shouldn't have to. And maybe I'm an idealist, but she kept calling me and saying, where are you? I'm in my office reviewing offers, Becky. No, where are you on price? I can't tell you. I'm not going to tell you. If you'd like to submit an offer, submit an offer. Anya, this went back and forth. I'm going to try to sum this up so we can move on for hours. And I finally said to her, I have 9 offers from 9 agents. I am dealing with these people. I am dealing with these buyers. I'm dealing with these offers. Put it on paper or I will not answer your phone call again. And she didn't. And I didn't. Now, we sold it for 1.5. Her verbal was 1.1. But the point is, to me, that's...
Do you think her and the guy that offered 1.575 would be friends?
Different. Oh, could they be friends? There's no friends in this business, right? I tell Anya that all the time. Okay, so...
that's a great segue into numbers.
Number 7, my new BFF. Oh, I get it. Best villain.
There's no friends.
Okay, there's no friends in real estate.
Except for this one. My new BFF. Where and when was a situation this spring where another person really impressed you, helped you get to the finish line on a transaction, or just made you feel great in an industry where so many people rub others the wrong way?
So my new BFF
is me.
Close. It's Alex Brott. Because me and Alex, she's a real estate celebrity.
Alex is my BFF. Back off.
Right. And that's why I'm saying that, because I knew you would take the bait and get jealous. It's funny. Alex and I, while we were having lunch, Alex Brott said the most Alex Brott thing, so I was with Alex Brott.
Right. Okay.
And Alex Brott was just brotting. We'll turn that into a verb.
She's gonna love this.
I knew that she would freak out if I said that. Okay. So, no, it's true. We're just like so tight. And when we were out for lunch, we didn't even talk about you at all.
Wow.
Okay. My new BFF, there's a buyer agent. Oh, this is a good one. So this guy brings me an offer and I don't like him. He's annoying. He's rude. He's not listening to me. And then he was eating while I was talking to him. So I'm ready to kick this guy to the curb because I just don't think he has it. And I call him and I'm like, okay, listen, I need you to listen. He's like, yes, I'm listening. And I was like, your offer's low. I need you to come up or we're going to go with somebody else. And he's like, okay, I will come up. And I said, okay. And he's like, I'm going to buy this house. I was like, okay. And he goes,
this guy a Muppet?
Let me tell you why. Well, I was going to do an accent, but some people think that it's, insensitive or whatever. So he says, don't get in the middle of my punchline. He says, I'm going to buy this house tonight. And I said, okay. And he goes, let me tell you why. I said, why? And he goes, you like me? And I just burst out laughing. So I was all serious all night, and this guy was driving me nuts. And then, I don't know what his accent is. Say he's from somewhere in the Middle East or something like that, right? But he just said, you like me. And I started laughing so hard, and then he laughed. And it went from this kind of tense situation to, I don't know, something completely different. And I was like, yeah, listen, yeah. He's like, tell me you like me. And I was like, I like you. I would like you if you brought me the offer. And he goes, okay. And then the next thing you know, he tells me that he's buying it for himself and his kids. And I was like, how many kids? He's like, I have 2, a boy and a girl. I was like, I have 2, a boy and a girl. Next thing I know, we're just shooting the breeze. And it's funny because I did not expect when I started this offer process, number one, that he was going to have the nut flush, if you will. But I also didn't expect when I was talking to him, he was being annoying. He was being combative. His paperwork was sloppy. I'm not painting a good picture. And then he just...
all of the things that you hate.
Right. Well, he cleaned it all up in the end.
Yeah.
And eating into the phone. And then he just wore me down with something that made me absolutely hysterical. And then we ended up talking about our family. So anyways, my new BFF, if it can't be Alex Brott, because clearly you've laid claim, then it would be this annoying agent eating on the phone.
We can share her. Okay. I think that's
all right.
okay.
So your new BFF.
My new BFF was multiple offers.
Go on.
As usual.
Yes.
As you know, many agents that run multiple offer scenarios are not necessarily running it in the most effective way.
I think we've covered that multiple
We've
times.
covered it.
Yeah.
So I think there were 12 offers on this property, and quite a bit of time had passed since we submitted, to the point that I was like, what's going on here? But I didn't want to bug the agent. I figured there was a lot going on.
There's already enough people
and
bugging
also
the
this
agent.
very reputable agent in the East End. And I was like, you know what? They'll call me when the time's right. I'll wait.
Oh, yeah. She would have been my second guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I finally get a call from her, and she's like, hey, I'm sorry I didn't call you sooner. You were the top offer. And when you are working with me, you will never be competing against yourself. And I really respected that. So essentially, she sent everyone back except for me, because I was the top offer. And then once everyone came back, if someone had beat me, I would be given an opportunity to improve. She gave us an opportunity to improve. We did. And then I called her just to be like, hey, just confirming you got our improved offer. And she's like, yeah. And also the seller read the letter that you submitted and is literally sobbing and is obsessed with your clients.
Actually, does anyone read those?
Which is so funny, because she was like, earlier when I sent him all the offers, he was like, I'm not going to read any of those letters. Like, that's stupid. Why would I care?
Yeah.
And read it and was like sobbing and was like, your clients are so sweet. He wants your clients to have the house. We also had the highest offer, but it was just the fact that it was run so professionally, and that she was not, and that she was not trying to have us compete against ourselves.
So she's always been one of my BFFs. So I'm also taking her.
That's acceptable. Do we want to name drop?
No.
Okay.
And sidebar, I've written letters on behalf of my clients. I've gone to Facebook, taken a family photo of them, put it into an MS doc, written dear homeowner, and then written a whole bunch of stuff, then get the property. And then the funnest part, that's a word, is go, guys, by the way, I got to come clean here. So I might have written a letter from you guys, and then it ends in hysteria.
That's funny.
Okay. Yes.
The final part of this that was fun was that she was like, don't bother. Like, you've got the check. You technically can't give it back to your clients. So like, it's fine. You don't have to give it to me
you
tonight.
don't have to come here at midnight. I trust you. Yeah.
She goes, just send me a photo to prove that it's in your possession. So I took a photo with Theo in the background, cute. And she liked it. And she said she liked my dog and my Aura ring.
Wow. Another woman. None of the men are getting high praise today, except Nicolas Cage.
The guy, your BFF was a guy, no?
Yeah, he was cool. Okay. Number 8, best high. What moment made you feel the absolute best and why? Very simple.
My listing. I had a listing, 92 Glebe-Mount. We sold it in one day.
Wow. And you know who's crying right now? Her husband, Brandon Lee, because she said that the best high was not marrying him. Oh, yeah. Sorry. It's about real estate. My bad.
Sorry, Brandon.
Okay.
I wasn't done.
Oh, no, I was going to say, okay, I'd like to hear more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what was really fun about this was my client was very anxious about what we were going to get. The comps were not very much in our favor. It was one of those like small semis in East York. And my client bought in 2019. It didn't seem like we were going to be a whole lot higher than what they had purchased for. We were exclusive for a few months just while we were prepping everything. And a few people had come through and seen it. We had some verbal offers from that, all of which were below $1 million. And we kind of figured, when I priced it, I said we'd be somewhere between $975,000 and $1,025,000, maybe $1,050,000 on a good day if we had enough offers.
Oh, I remember this one.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yep. We get a bully offer on the second day after we listed. The agent calls me. He's like, I'm sending you a bully offer. I was like, fantastic. I did not expect, as we know, bully offers are not always that great.
Sure, they could be terrible.
They could be terrible. And I wasn't expecting a whole lot. And it was 411.
Wow.
Yep. So I called all the agents. I let them know. And we had like over 30 showings booked within 24 hours.
So maybe, you might have done similar on offer night, but
I don't know that we would have because that was more than we expected we would get. And it didn't seem worth the gamble to wait.
And knowing when to take the bully, like I had one on Springdale. We got a bully of 136 and they were like, we want to take that. And I said, do not take
that one.
And we ended up selling for 1.5. Yeah.
So I was like, we got more than we wanted. She was very happy with that price.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting one other offer that night. The other offer was not great. So I did the ethical thing and I did not try to get the other offer up. I said, congrats.
Anya and her ethics.
Love ethics.
Okay. So what made you feel the absolute best and why? So I had this listing that was incredibly unique, and unique means tough. It's tough to price. It's tough sometimes to sell, right? There's one buyer. This is a property that looks like it's out of a movie. Cape Cod style house, only 1.5 story, white picket fence, corner lot, the most ridiculous garden you've ever seen. But who's the buyer? So the seller's telling me 2.9. I'm running it through the gambit, right? And real estate agents that work in this environment, this is collaborative, they talk. And I'm talking to people and nobody is on board with the price point. Worse is that there are not one, but 2 properties that come out in the 5-6 weeks leading up in the area that sell for 2.3 after a price reduction, and 2.4 that you might say are better houses. So we're on drugs. We're going to market at 2.9, but this property is unique. 2.9. 400,000 more. What did I say? 2.5? No, 2.3 and 2.4. I think those other ones sold for 500,000 more than the first, and 600,000 more than the other.
Okay.
We come to market at 2.9. We sold it for 2.9. And the reason why is because the buyer was basically the seller. And I don't want to give away too much, but let me say, based on age, demographic, hobbies, use, family, the one buyer came along, and you might say it's luck, at the perfect time. Now, I had one agent that called me and said, what is with your price? I can't figure it out. What am I missing here? Is there a door that led to another house? And, kind of condescending. I was like, look, man, we're looking for the right buyer. And then I had this person that came in, and then I actually had another person that said, we can't go above 2.8, but my clients would be interested at 2.8. So you know what? It's not like it was the needle in the haystack, but that was by far my best high, because I felt so good for the seller, because everyone was telling her she's nuts. And to be honest, when I met her in December of last year, 2.9, I was like,
you're nuts.
I didn't say that. What I said was, Kristen Bosley has this saying, no one likes to be sold like a salesperson. And I was sitting there and I was thinking to myself, am I being sold right now? And I thought, you know what? This is so unique. It's impossible to replicate. But look, number of beds, number of baths, frontage, depth. If you go through a typical CMA, it's going to spit out a value of 2.4, 2.5. But because of how unique this was, you can never find another house like this. And
that's a good one.
At the end of the day, that was my best high.
Okay.
That and you getting married. I was so happy for you, just like, yeah, way to go, friend from work. She thinks it's funny because I always say there's no friends in real estate. Okay, what is your best high?
I did my best high, didn't I?
Yes, I meant number 9. What is your worst low? Okay.
What experience crushed your real estate soul more than any other in the past 5 months?
Well, in the interest of time, because as you guys have all identified, Anya's struggling with brevity.
So sorry.
I will simply say that my worst low, and I don't want to make this tacky and make it about like money or deals. I feel good when I'm working. I feel good when I achieve self-actualization, Maslow's needs hierarchy. January was the worst January in 15 years. And if you combine March, April, and May, 3 best months in my 22 years. But the point is, January was my worst low because there was just nothing out there. And it was so cold and so snowy. No one wanted to go out. Listings were down. And I don't want this to be tacky like, oh, David, you were low because you're not making money. No, it's because I wasn't achieving. I wasn't transacting. I wasn't selling. I wasn't buying. I wasn't renting.
Or could we say you weren't doing what you love?
Sitting in my basement alone?
No, you're sitting in your office alone.
Well, that too. No, it was just that was my low. January was abysmal, but things turn around, right? So what have you got?
I had another condo.
Okay. They're the worst.
No, actually, it was great. We sold it in like 2 days.
Okay.
It was fantastic. That part was not the problem. The problem were the agents, plural, on the other side.
Okay.
So this agent/agents were with one of those fun new brokerage models.
I got it. Well, they have no mailing address. So you're like, where do I bring the check to what office? They're like, just bring it to my house.
Well, it was my listing, so that wasn't the problem. But yeah, so I was confused because I got an offer from someone who I'd never heard from.
Sure.
And didn't show the property.
Oh.
But it was the same brokerage.
Okay.
I eventually learned as this progressed that there was a different agent assigned to deal with each part of the transaction.
Oh,
so
my God.
Showings are one agent.
Never heard of it.
I told you about it. So their model is that I think agents are employees and each one does a specific part. So there's one person that does the offer. There's one person that does the showings. There was one person that did the remainder of the facilitation of the offer. It was very confusing. So anyways.
It's hardly Adam Smith's.
It was incredibly confusing.
Splitting the. Anyways, you go on.
And I was just like, what is going on? Like, I don't know who I'm supposed to be calling. I'm very confused. I'm trying to get this done for my client. So anyways, we come to terms on price, accept the offer. Next day, I reach out to the agent. It's been a while since I've heard from them. I'm like, what's the deal with the deposit? When's the deposit coming in? This new character, never spoken to, calls me and goes, hey, Anya, there's a little situation with the deposit.
Yeah, we don't have any money.
What is it? Well, so my client offered on another property last week, as I'm sure you know, and they didn't get their deposit back yet. And so I just picked it up from the other brokerage, and like I have to give it to my client and they have to deposit it back into their bank account, and then it's going to be 5 business days.
You're doing a voice that I assigned to a 24-year-old named Becky, who's a part-time agent and part-time spin instructor.
Okay, well that's just my...
But I do that voice and then you make fun of me. And then you're doing the voice. This is like today's modern real estate agent.
It sounds far worse when you do it.
Actually, yeah, you're right. Sorry, I interrupted you. That's so unlike me.
So we're on the phone and I'm like, okay, well, can we do some sort of a tiered deposit if your client doesn't have the full amount, elsewhere?
I see, because you're smart and she's not.
Yeah. So I said, can we do like a structured deposit? You can do some amount now and then some amount later when the funds clear. Agent goes, oh yeah, what are you thinking? Like $500? And I went, no, like thousands.
It's like the deposit on a Sea-Doo.
Yeah, I'm like, you're going to do a $500 deposit. Now we're going to tie ourselves up. None of these people are going to continue showing the condo because we're only 3 days on the market. So it's not like we have great backups.
But you're trying to explain this with reason and logic.
Totally.
In her brain, there's a monkey climbing to the top of a building. That's the problem.
Anyways, so I'm explaining. I'm like, I am not tying this condo up for a deposit of $500 that your client could easily walk away from.
The deal falls through anyways if they don't have the deposit within 24 hours.
So we changed it. They did $5,000 in the balance within 5 business days. And all in the end turned out fine. But it was just that experience of like...
Because you're not working with professionals.
And like, who thinks $500 is an acceptable deposit?
So the problem is the consumers out there have said, we want a different business model. The consumers want choice, and I don't blame them. I believe in choice.
Sure.
I believe competition is crucial. I mean, look at, Rogers and Bell, and they gobble up the competition, but like competition's important. So you have a firm that comes along, and I'm not going to name names, but years ago... and I'm off script here, but years ago, and I've told you this story, I dealt with a company, and I won't name them, but it was the same thing. An agent is paid $50 to show the property. Mm-hmm. An agent is paid $50 to do the offer. Now, what happened during that offer? They didn't negotiate. So the person that's getting cash back for using this firm, that agent didn't try to negotiate. That agent went down a checklist. She was like, okay, and closing date? Okay, and condition? Okay, and what about the price? And before I could say anything, she said, you're not going to come down, are you? And I was like, well, now I'm not. She's like, okay. So right off the bat, she just cost her client like $50,000. So they have a different agent for the buyer visit.
Yep.
A different agent for the home inspection,
mm-hmm.
a different agent for the buyer visit. And then on closing, the buyer called me and said, how do I get in my new house? And I said, I don't know. I'm the listing agent. They said, well, I can't get in touch with my agent. I said, who's your agent? They said, I don't know. Perfect. I've had 8 of them. And I said, you're going to have to call your lawyer. Well, it's 6:30 on a Friday night. So I told this story when I did a podcast with Kristen because we were talking about different business models.
Yikes.
Am I supposed to give him the lockbox code so he can get the key to the house that I know he owns because I know it's closed?
I don't know, actually.
No. I can't. The only person that can tell me to release that is my client and my client's lawyer. So I called my client and he said, I don't know anything about this. I don't know if it's closed. I haven't heard from my lawyer. This guy waited until Monday at 9:30 to get access to his house because he hired one of these companies that outsources every part of the transaction. Okay.
Yeah.
So last question here.
Number 10.
Yes.
The final award for today.
It's the final countdown. Do.
Best turnaround.
She doesn't know that song. She wasn't born.
I do know that song.
Yeah, who sings it?
I don't know.
Europe.
Okay, well, I don't have to know everything.
Okay.
What is the best story about where you turned something around in an awesome and unexpected way?
I'm getting Patrick Bateman from American Psycho vibes.
You always have Patrick Bateman from American Psycho vibes.
He says, and then a calm comes over me in an awesome wave.
Do you need to go return some videotapes?
True story. So I'm going to do this one very quickly because, Anya and our lack of brevity. I had clients that made an offer on a house for $3.5 million, and we were in third round of sign back, and I got them the price that they wanted, and then they said, we changed our mind. And I was like, sorry, what? And they said, we don't like the house. I said, you don't like the house? You offered $3.5 million on it. We've decided we don't like the house. So again, I'm a visual thinker. I'm putting my daughter to bed. And now people know I'm a shitty dad. Okay, so I'm putting my daughter to bed.
Why? You're at home. You're home for bedtime.
9:30 on a Saturday night, and my phone rings. I'm like, oh, shut up, honey. Let me take this phone call. Right? No, I'm serious. And then they tell me, they're like, we don't want the house. I can literally picture this. I'm laying in her bed, there's stuffed animals everywhere, and they're like, we don't want the house. Then I just like strangle one of her squishmallows or whatever it's called. And then that wasn't central to the story.
Does she have jelly cats?
Oh, don't even get me started. Okay. On Tuesday morning, a house came out and they bought it, and it was better.
Sorry, what day was this?
Saturday night.
Okay.
So I'm on Sunday saying, I don't understand. On Monday, I'm still like, I don't understand. Well, and it's not about me. It's not about me. It's that you love this house enough to make an offer for $3.5 million, and then you said, actually, we don't like it.
Yeah, like what has changed?
And then if you believe in God, I don't. I believe in real estate gods. The real estate gods were like, guess what we shall do to thou. They took the house, changed the three things that these people said. They're like, well, we really don't like the exterior and the backyards. It's just like if the lot was larger and there'd be more natural light. And they just, literally the real estate gods took that house that they passed on, created it, put it one block over, bought it out on Tuesday, and we bought it. Like, you talk about a turnaround. This isn't just for the first 6 months of this market. That's the biggest turnaround in my entire career. You said no to a house on Saturday night, and you bought the same version but better on Tuesday. Like, what are the odds? Okay.
Pretty good.
And
okay.
Now, Anya.
Mine's a little bit different.
Wait, can I mic drop my cards?
Yeah.
I'm done. Okay, yours is different.
Mine is different. I had a client looking for an investment property and was absolutely hard-pressed to have close to a 5% cap rate, but didn't want like a garbage house, like wanted a turnkey investment property, like nicely renovated. I'm sure you know that is very hard to find.
Sell them my place on Hallam.
Well, it's too
He's already
late.
bought. Yeah, I want one.
Anyways, so we're struggling to find something. Obviously, we've seen everything on MLS now. I'm like doing my thing, trying to find something that's not listed. Find one. It is the perfect property for them. Like absolutely perfect. But my client decided that he wanted a very creative structure. So there were two options. I think at that point was listed for $2 million. That was the exclusive price.
Okay.
My client was like, I'll take it for 1.8, or if they'll do a vendor take back at like a term, but it was like a term. I think I called you about that. And we talked about the vendor take back.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
They're very rare.
They're very rare. And the terms that he wanted were to be better than what the bank would offer.
I mean, that should be the point of a vendor take back in today's market.
Yeah. But like say 2% for 10 years.
Okay. That's crazy. But
but over asking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so I emailed these two options to the agent. I was like, let me know if either of these are of interest and I'll put it on paper. The agent pretty much told me to F off. And I was like, okay.
That's because his brain exploded when you gave him the math behind that.
Well, also the agent is married to the owner of the property.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then they don't say my husband, they say like my client.
No.
Like, no.
Oh, no.
Your client's in your bed.
Said
like,
my husband the entire time.
Because I hate when agents do that.
No. Said
my
was
seller
very
client.
was very open about it and is like not a full-time agent by any means. So pretty much told us to F off. We were like, okay, cool. Bye. And then my client really was still thinking about this, so kind of came back with a couple of other options. The agent pretty much was like, bye. A couple of weeks passed, they list it. They list it for, I think, 1975, below what they had initially told us. And my client's still thinking about it. Anyways, eventually decides that he wants to offer again, and we come in lower, better than our initial, but lower still than asking, and we got it.
So you could have made this as the biggest I told you so. as well.
Well, I guess so, but part of it was also because they listed it and weren't getting activity, so the agent called me to see if we were still interested, which now told us that we had more leverage.
So this is, okay, that's best turnaround. You could also call
could
that
have been
best deal.
Yeah.
Biggest I told you so.
I had it for a couple.
Best high. Could it be my new BFF? Are you still hanging with this agent that's representing her husband selling? I'm just kidding.
No. But the
That is a
agent
good turnaround.
was present for the inspection.
Oh, I love that.
So it was a little bit annoying because the agent kept taking like personal calls inside and was very loud. And I was like, can you just go outside? Anyways, there we go. 10
of
awards.
A real estate agent. Wow. If only there were time for more, but I think we're probably over an hour.
I don't think so.
When was the last time you watched an awards show? Like, you know, people that watch the Oscars?
I think I did watch the Oscars.
I think my mother would do that. My mother loves that stuff. You know what my mother loves is just the introductions. She'll be like, I love the elaborate intro. She'll watch like the introduction to the Oscars and then skip the Oscars, or like watch the introduction to like the Super Bowl and then skip
like the
game.
hosts. Like I like listening to the jokes.
I like being alone in my basement. Okay, well, thank you for this. That was great.
Thank you for this.
Thank me. You
well,
should.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're not, because this is also my
Yeah, she has a
podcast.
podcast. Like I always say, if there's one thing in this world that we can all agree we need more of, it's real estate agents podcasts.
You like my podcast.